The message arrived at 9:42 p.m., just as the rain began tapping against the tall windows of the apartment. Family group, Sunday gathering, chicken, fire. Hey, quick heads up. Maybe skip this Sunday. It's better for everyone. No explanation followed, no emoji, no apology. A second message came 30 seconds later. Just being honest. Arohi Mehta stared at the screen until it dimmed. She didn't type immediately. She never did. Years of practice had trained her fingers to pause, to observe, to choose silence when others expected noise. She typed one word, all right. Then she locked her phone and returned to the stack of technical documents spread across her dining table, papers that would decide whether a decade of her life would finally surface into the light or vanish without recognition. Outside, the rain thickened. Inside, Arohi didn't flinch. Chapter 2. The Girl Who Didn't Fit. Arohi had always been the odd one out. While her cousins fought over television remotes and wedding outfits, she sat cross-legged on the floor dismantling broken radios. At 12, she fixed the neighbor's refrigerator using spare parts and intuition. At 16, she turned down a birthday party because she wanted to finish a programming challenge she found online. Her family called it phase. Girls grow out of these things, her aunt once laughed. She never did. By the term she graduated high school, Arohi had already published 2 research papers under a mentor's name, work that quietly influenced a small corner of renewable energy research. No one at home understood what that meant. "What job will this give you?" her father asked. She didn't know how to explain that some work wasn't meant to fit into neat job titles. Chapter 3. Distance without departure. She never left the city. That was the irony. Her parents lived 20 minutes away. Her brother, Rohan, lived 10. Cousins came and went, filling the same houses with louder laughter and louder opinions. Yet Arohi felt farther than someone living across oceans. They spoke around her, not to her. "So, still studying?" someone would ask, years after she had stopped being a student. "Working," she'd reply. "Oh, where?" She learned to keep answers vague. It was easier that way. Chapter 4. The Work No One Asked About. What Arohi never said was this. She was the lead systems architect for Heliogenics, a clean energy startup developing a decentralized power module capable of supplying electricity to remote regions without grid dependency. If it worked, it would change disaster relief, rural healthcare, and emergency infrastructure worldwide. If it failed, no one outside the building would ever know her name. She preferred it that way. Recognition was loud. Progress was quiet. When Rohan announced his wedding, Arohi bought the gift early. She arrived on time, dressed simply, standing slightly apart from the noise. She congratulated the bride warmly. The bride smiled politely, her eyes already searching for someone else. During dinner, Arohi overheard whispers. "She's still single? She works with machines, I think. Must be lonely." Arohi focused on the food. Loneliness, she had learned, was not the absence of people, but the absence of curiosity.
The promotion came on a Tuesday morning. Arohi didn't cry. She didn't cheer. She simply closed her laptop and sat very still. She was now Director of Integrated Systems, the youngest in company history. She told no one at home. What would she say? "I lead teams you've never heard of, solving problems you don't know exist for people you'll never meet." It felt indulgent. Back in the present, Sunday arrived quietly. No cookout, no arguments, no forced smiles. Arohi made coffee and worked through simulations as rain clouds drifted away. At 3:17 p.m., her phone buzzed. An unknown number. She answered. Arohi Mehta? Yes. This is the Ministry of Infrastructure. We'd like to discuss a national pilot program. She closed her eyes. The silence she had cultivated was about to break.
The conference room was larger than necessary. People in suits studied slides built from years of Arohi's work, her ideas refined, tested, proven. Someone asked, "Can this scale?" "Yes," she replied calmly. Someone else asked, "Why hasn't this been done before?" She paused. "Because it requires patience more than ambition." They nodded. They approved the pilot unanimously.
The article appeared 3 days later. No flashy headline, just facts. Heliogenics selected for national clean energy deployment. A small photo showed Arohi mid-discussion, hands folded, expression neutral. Her phone rang that night. Her mother. "Why didn't you tell us?" she asked. Arohi didn't answer immediately. "I didn't think you'd be interested." There was silence on the other end. Invitations came slowly after that. Coffee, dinner, just to talk. Arohi declined most. Not out of bitterness, out of balance. She had learned something important. You don't owe access to people who never made space for your voice. Invitations came slowly after that. Coffee, dinner, just to talk. Arohi declined most. Not out of bitterness, out of balance. She had learned something important. You don't owe access to people who never made space for your voice. Invitations came slowly after that. Coffee, dinner, just to talk. Arohi declined most. Not out of bitterness, out of balance. She had learned something important. You don't owe access to people who never made space for your voice. Rohan called. "I didn't mean it like that," he said. "I know," Arohi replied. That was the truth. He hadn't meant harm, he had meant convenience. Sometimes that hurt more. Months later, Arohi stood in a remote village, watching lights turn on for the first time after sunset. Children laughed. Hospitals powered machines uninterrupted. No one clapped. No one knew her name. She smiled. Arohi never became the family's pride story. She became something better. She became whole. Success did not shout her name. It didn't need to. Because for the first time, the silence around her wasn't dismissal. It was respect.